Welcome to War Games, hosted by the sales genius Joe Ingram. If you're looking to win the sales battle, then you have joined the right team. In the War Games group, we devise strategies for sales, marketing, branding, mindset, and attitude. We enlist the assistance from the most successful producers across all industries. We then share their knowledge and techniques with you. Our single goal is to get you ready for your next sales opportunity. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that have crossed before you. Now, prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for the War Games to begin.
How we play a game.
Hello, viewers. It's Joe. Thanks for coming back for another War Games episode and Sales Genius podcast. I want to invite today onto the screen John Papaloni. John, let me just give you a little bit about John. From a very early age, he has been the personification of the word entrepreneur. So he has gone out and done a business after a business after a business, which I believe most people truly want to do, but never have the stones, is my word, right, to get up and do, okay? But he had this desire to be his own boss and to go forward has been extremely beneficial for him as well as his clients. So it's a great honor of mine to bring him on. He wants to deliver nothing but top value to you today, as well as to everybody else. But he started as a DJ, right? He went out, built a digital company, then built 2-3 more digital companies after he sold another one. Okay. But right now he works on real estate capital and being the lender and the real estate professional and investor you can trust. So I'm going to bring John up on the stage. John.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. The pleasure's mine. We are already got people that I'm here already, right? Yes. You can start the program now that you've gotten here. Thanks, everybody.
Fantastic. This is
and
awesome.
DJ Stones. That's what we're going to call you from now on, is DJ Stones. Yeah. So, John, thank you so much. I know you have Papaloni Capital. That's what you're working on now as one of your many streams of income. My question is this: we've got a bunch of entrepreneurs that are out here, and I want to open up the floor to you to say, what do you want to teach them today that it's important that they walk away from the War Games episode, the Sales Genius podcast, knowing that you have imparted wisdom upon them?
Well, absolutely. What I want to start off by saying is the key component is get into something that you love and enjoy, and always remember your corporate values. And when I say your corporate values, I mean your personal values and why you're doing the business. If you tend to, it's easy to get strayed away. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to, forget why you started something and then let other people influence your direction. And more than likely, you didn't start the business to do something that other people wanted. You did it for yourself. And I don't mean, where you're servicing yourself. I mean, like, where you're trying to provide a product and a solution. I mean, constructive criticism is great, but at the same time, you got to take it with a grain of salt, and everything still always revolves around what your core values are. And if everything falls into your core values, then you have a starting point and your passion, because things are going to get hard. Things always get hard, and sometimes they feel impossible. I mean, like, I tell myself about 18 times a day that I want to quit. I just never do. And
you just don't follow through. That's the key, right? If you're not going to follow, if the one thing you're going to not follow through on is the part where you quit, everything else you got to follow through. Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's just as difficult. Look, something is just as easy to do as it is to not do. The only difference is successful people do it anyways. That's the bottom line. Right. So once you know what your core values are, you know what your passion is, you know where you want to go, and you see the opportunity, and you know there's a vision there, and the market is telling you there because they're reacting, then the path is easy. You can just adjust as you go, as long as it fits your values. Now, consistency is going to play a big role here as well, because, like, I'm going to take podcasting, for example. I'm going to use that as an example and just say podcasting is a form of marketing that you use. Now, you could do one podcast and do it every 6 months and nobody's going to even remember you did it. But when you do it every single day, day in, day out, or even if it's once a week, twice a week, whatever you decide that your consistent number is going to be, you just do it. Now, what ends up happening is, I'll give you an example. My podcast is at about 208 episodes. I've gotten to the point that I walk into the grocery store and people that I've never met know me, and they call me by name. Now, that didn't happen overnight. The first 6 months, you feel like you're wasting your time. And then after a while, people start to see you because I'm all over social media. I take my podcast, I publish it weekly, got a bunch of followers, got a bunch of listeners. Then I take that podcast, create it into clips, post it over into different social media avenues, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whichever. And what ends up happening is, through that consistency, now I'm becoming recognized. And the key fundamental thing is, when you're selling a service, especially when you're selling a service, people want to deal with people they know, they like, and they trust. Now, how do you scale something and sell it to as many people as you possibly can sell it to if nobody knows you? And if those are the three criteria to sell that service. And that's the key thing. Through consistent marketing, consistent development, people get to recognize you and they feel like they know you, even if all they do is see you online. They feel that they know you and they get to know what you're about. And as long as you're authentic, and I know everybody uses the word authentic.
It's as bad as Pivot was during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Plandemic or pandemic?
Yes. I'm with you on the pandemic. Absolutely.
So,
yeah. But so many people said pivot. I was like, stop pivoting. And now the same thing with authenticity.
Yeah.
It's such an industry buzzword that you think is relevant. I agree.
But my message really, when I'm saying authentic, I mean, just be yourself, right?
Okay.
Like, look, I'm in a friggin' t-shirt. I do business in a t-shirt. If you're expecting me to do to show up in a suit, then ideally we don't see the same. You're probably not a customer for me, and I'm probably not the service provider for you. Right. That's just the way it is. You be yourself, and you're looking for people who are like you, again, that you will trust, know, like, and trust, and they will know, like, and trust you. And you found someone that you can work together, because it's a relationship. And that's what a service business is. Service business is relationship, and you're being yourself, and you're being truthful to yourself, and you're providing an honest service. Now that's where you start off with. Right. Hello, Lynn. How's it going? And so at that point in time, so now you got your service, you're building your persona online. From that point in time, you want to over deliver at all times, right? If you promise an inch, deliver the foot. Right? That's the key thing, right? People do not, like, look, the hardest thing to do in 2023 is to develop loyalty. There's so many confusing messages out there. There's so many products that are alike. There's so many people trying to compete in the same space. The best thing to do is you build up your clientele and you build up loyalty. And how do you build up loyalty? It is by the extra that you do. Like, again, we know that I'm in the real estate business. So I sell houses and I buy houses. So how do I get people to keep coming back to me? I go over and above that sale of the house. I keep in contact. I keep that relationship going. It goes beyond the sale. If I help somebody buy a house and they don't hear from me in 7 years, then I come up and say, hey, how's it going? I called to check in. No, I didn't. It's been 7 years. The average person changes homes every 7 years. I'm obviously calling because I'm trying to see if you want to sell your house, because I'm trying to get that business. Now that seems slimy. There's no relationship there. But if I continue.
Can I interject on this one too? So, because what I'm hearing from you, right, is that we have to over deliver, right? What I'm hearing though, like, again, can you define over deliver? You said if they're buying an inch, give them the foot. But are we talking about maintaining the relationship as the over delivery part, where we're actually continuously, because I know some people, and the reason I say this, John, is that some people will go, I have 10 things I can sell a client, and then the client buys one and they give them the other 9, right? And you're like, wait, that wasn't the over deliver part, because now you lost revenue on the other 9 products you have, right? Maybe give them one. Or are we talking about taking it beyond just that transaction?
I'm talking about going beyond the transaction. Everybody expects you to help them find that home. You help them find that home as an example. They found their home, off they go. You don't have to hear from them again. Now,
Right.
where's the loyalty? As we just said, we're building relationships. Where's the relationship? A relationship isn't something where you talk to a person every 7 years when they need a transaction. That's a transaction. You're trying to build up relationships, and people deal with people they have relationships with. You don't mind price shopping on a product or a service when you don't know who you're dealing with, but you might have a hesitation. If I know you and I know you're in the business and you've helped me before, now I might hesitate in calling somebody else because I know you and you're good to me and you're always there to help me.
Right.
You maintain that relationship, you did more than what they expected. People expect, once you get that product delivered, that service delivered, they expect to never see you again until they need you again. So the fact that you're always there, you're showing them that you care. And as long as they know that you care, they care. And then the loyalty is built, and it's almost like a friendship.
Got it. Because the loyalty goes both ways.
100%.
Yeah. And so you're demonstrating it's more than a transaction to me, which means they can view it themselves as this was more than just a transactional process. No,
absolutely. Everyone says it. The difference is you have to do it, not just say it.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarity on that.
Absolutely. So at that point in time, you have your relationship, you have your business going and cycling. Now referrals come in. When you have that referrals, that's from loyalty again. Like, look, Christmas is coming up, or even Halloween. We'll just take Halloween because all my clients that have kids, I'm going to know which ones they have because they're going to be in my CRM. And that's the other key component. Have some form of software to track everything, every sale, every interaction, every deal, every email, all your components, all your touch points with all your customers. Now I'm going to know who has kids, who doesn't have kids, what are their approximate age, how long it's been since I've done business with them, so I know what stage they're at. And every Halloween comes along, send them a little like if they have young kids, hey, you know what, they have those baskets to go around trick-or-treating. So there's different ones you can come out of creative, grab a couple of baskets, bring it to them, deliver it to them so that their kids get the baskets that they can go pick up candies with. Maybe it has your logo or emblem on it, maybe it doesn't, but either way, it was a reason to see you. It was a reason to keep in touch. So you can use events like that. You can use Christmas. Don't just mail something, sayonara, no contact. Don't email them. Like, look, let's be honest. Anybody watching this or hearing this, if you have done business with somebody and you get an email that just says, hey, Merry Christmas, how valuable do you find that? Happy birthday. I don't think, maybe the first year it might be appealing because, wow, it's been a year and they remembered. After that, it becomes, oh, okay, well, another text message. Never hear from the guy, but hey, I got another text message or another email. Yip-de-doo. Right?
Well, a lot of people too, I would say, actually stop and go, oh, wow, someone's got a CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're like, I don't know if it's actually this person or whatever it is, because there's services that send out brownies. There's services that send out things to your clients, right, to keep you up to date. But like you're saying, is take the time to make it personal. It's not leave them on their front door and, with a card. You're trying to get to that person to knock and go, hey, here you go. Here's the 2 Halloween baskets, or here's the swag I'm dropping off. Because to me, I get frustrated just at my house. Like I live in an area that people want to buy into, and I come home to however many notepads. They're literally stacking realtor notepads on top of the other realtor notepad outside, right? Yeah. And then there's flyers stuck in the gate, and there's 4 or 5 of them. I'm like, man, everybody chose the same day to come out and hand out flyers? What's going on?
And the same gift. It's like there's no thought to it, right? Like absolutely no thought. Nobody gives a crap about some pad that has your logo on it. Nobody gives a crap about a flyer that says just sold, just listed. If they know what business you're in, they know what you do. They don't need a flyer to remind you that you sell houses, right? Like it's clear. You want that personal touch. Now, look, you're not going to reach everybody. So that's why sometimes what happens is you call up and just say, hey, Joe, how's it going? I'm in the neighborhood. I'm I would say about a half an hour away. I have a couple of things I wanted to bring by to you. Are you going to be home? Oh, no, actually, I'm going to be, dropping my kids off to karate class and all that before we go trick-or-treating or whatever, or, getting ready for Halloween. I got to go buy some candies. All right, well, I'm going to pass by. I'm going to leave what I was going to bring at your front door. I hope that's all right. Oh, no, can you put it at the side so nobody sees it? Absolutely can do that. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Joe. We'll talk to you later. It's nice hearing from you. Click. Now I go there, I put the baskets on the side. More than likely you're going to go home because that call, you're not going to know what the heck I'm leaving. It's going to be, what is this? Right. And then when you see the baskets go, oh, wow, that was thoughtful. Thought of my kids. More than likely, you're going to call me tomorrow and say, hey, I got it. We used it. They loved it. You know what I mean? That was so thoughtful. And then you kept the relationship going.
No, I love that. I think it's fantastic. But I again, everybody listening, understand it was the biggest part wasn't the actual gift. It was the phone call beforehand, asking the permission to come over and to do that, because that actually created the anticipation, but it created the connection that he's going for, that energetic connection to rekindle with that person, where not necessarily would see the baskets on the ground, right, have done that same thing.
Absolutely. So, and the other thing that I've done is I established that I made a personal attempt and I didn't just have some automation thing do it.
Right. Yep. Agreed.
So that's the key fundamental. And again, it's important to continuously prospect for new clientele, but you want to make sure that your current clientele are happiest first. They take priority because it's easy to get a second sale, a third sale, a fourth sale, an upsale from people that you know. And it takes a lot more marketing dollars and effort to get new clientele. Now, using real estate again, just because this is easy for me.
Again,
there's only so many homes you're going to sell to one person. And there are only so many times they're going to move. So with that being said, you got to keep the flow going. And that's where the whole new prospecting comes in. And I believe you should be doing what I call time blocking, which is blocking off a couple of hours every single day to do what I call income producing activities. Now, income producing activities could be calling people, could be creating your social media campaigns, could be advertising online. It could be, finding out what's going on in your neighborhood and getting yourself involved in the community, whether it's Habitat for Humanity as an example. You're getting involved in charity. You're going to meet people are going to see you. That's going to be content. I'm just giving you an example, right? Like there's many ways you can do it. You block off 2 hours a day, just ways to network with other people so people get to see your face or hear your voice in some way, shape, or form and get to learn what you're doing. And then that, again, if you're consistent 2 days a week, 2 hours a day, every single day, doesn't have to be, you could take the weekends off, do it Monday to Friday. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, you could do that. It doesn't have to be real estate. Income producing activities is the key component that nobody wants to do because that's what takes the effort. And that's one of those ones where we come up with excuses of why we can't do it today. And that's why I say
it's not really sexy.
No,
right?
It's not.
It's the behind the scenes making things happen. Yeah, I agree. And again, I like that. If you're blocking out 2 hours a day, that's 10 hours of productivity moving forward for your brand, right? For your business name. And again, it doesn't have to be stuck in the office behind your laptop.
No.
Right? Like, yeah, one of the guys that's what's watching right now is Bob. I know Bob works in Starbucks most of the time. He gets up and goes out and he's in a Starbucks because his whole business is about people. And again, he finds a way to invest in somebody that's in there so that it comes back to him later. So, but yeah, I like that.
Absolutely. Like what I like to do, and I do this additionally to everything I've talked about, is I spend my first hour of every day inside a coffee shop with a coffee, and I start off with a coffee and a bagel. That's how I start off my breakfast. Now, I bring my laptop with me, so it looks like I'm gearing up for work, but I don't even open my laptop. I leave it closed. I leave it closed on the table. So it looks it looks like I'm there to do something. And then when everyone stares and saying, why does the guy got a laptop on the table? He's not even using it. Right. Why? Because I'm looking for that attention, right? I'm looking for that stare. And then when somebody turns around, they sit right by you. Sometimes it sparks a conversation. Oh, I don't want to disrupt you. Oh, no, don't worry. I just got this just in case or whatever. I have time. I don't bite. And then they laugh at that. They sit with you. Next thing you know, you just met a new person.
Right.
Happened to me yesterday, actually. True story. I happened to go to, I went out for a coffee. I brought my brother with me this time. And we went to a coffee shop, and I happened to bump into somebody that I knew that I see around. And, I said my hellos and all that. I was going to go sit on the other side with my brother and have the coffee. And he's like, oh, I just, I got here. You guys you're welcome to join us. And I thought, it's an opportunity. I don't know who he's with. And so I sat down, had a whole conversation about mortgages. And the person had asked me all kinds of questions because her mortgage is coming up and she wasn't sure about a lot of things. I've uncovered a few details she was completely unaware of, such as the fact that her mortgage is not a renewable mortgage, which means if she doesn't get on it, she will not have a mortgage and have a problem. But if it was not for that conversation, she wouldn't have known that because she wasn't that focused on it. She was just trying to figure it out. Anyways, we had a whole hour conversation about that. I caught up with the person I haven't seen in a while. By the end of it, now she went home to call her mortgage company today, whatever. I have a potential client just from helping that person out just by sitting there at the coffee shop and talking over a coffee.
Absolutely. Yeah, agreed. And again, but it's putting yourself out there, because I would love to say that now I'm one of those guys that I will lock myself in my office, right, and just buckle down for hours and stuff. But I've not had anybody just walk into my office and ask for training. So there isn't any leads created from that. Everything has to come digitally based on what I'm doing in my office, where you get that. Actually, you started with the right? The know, like, trust.
Yeah.
So they already got that part from you without having to, and it only validates after the fact. So when she got home and looked you up and then saw all of the media and all of the information you have online, then all of a sudden she's like, oh, wow, this is the big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I go to networking events all the time. Like I was at one this morning. Now this one was a bunch of realtors that I was with, but first thing out of the mouth is, hey, this is the video guy. So they recognize me for what I do. They follow me. I got to meet some people who, follow me online, subscribe to me. It's some people I knew as well. And it was more interaction. I got introduced to more people I didn't know. And where the benefit is there. Again, I'm in a referral business. Most people are in a referral business, some form or shape, if you're in a service business.
Can I ask you, what's your qualification for the networking event?
Oh,
like, what is that process in your mind that you go, is this one I want to go to?
Well, it's basically the topic, right? You got to look at what they're talking about and what is the value proposition of that event. If it's like prime example, the reason I went with other realtors is because a good portion of my business is agent to agent referrals. What ends up happening is that I service one area, they service another area, and I'll purposely go somewhere that's out of that area so they'll have someone to refer to, and I get to meet people, network with people. And then when they think of, oh, hey, I know someone who's looking to buy in Burlington, and Ajax is way too far for Burlington. Hey, I met John. Don't know why he was here, but hey, you know what? He's a good person. Let's see if he wants this client. Give me a call. Hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me find, help my client out. Are you around? Yeah, I can help. Right?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
I know, because there's so much stuff that we do out of trial and error that not necessarily does the young entrepreneur know what you're doing. Right? They're gonna end up at a networking event that has nothing to do with their industry or what they're going. They're like, I don't have anything that's going to tell me what is a good thing to do or not. So thank you for that.
True. Where you got to be careful is, again, where do you get your business from? And that's where do you hope to get business from? Because you have to be very careful with associating with people in your industry, because they're your competitors to some degree. And I have a purpose where people will refer me. Now I'm established too, so that's how I know that. But the point I'm getting at is the fact that hanging out with industry professionals and talking shop talk won't necessarily get you business. So you have to know whether or not. Now, the event I went to today was about personal development, and it was the title of the event was called "Win in Any Market," and that's about how the fact that we're in a tough market right now, and a lot of people are struggling. And this is a bunch of pros and people that are doing well who are teaching lessons of stuff that they're doing that is allowing them to continue succeeding even in this down market. And now, so everyone there is there to learn, everyone there is to network, because you know that because of the type of event it is, right? Because it's a personal development one. Now, even if I didn't network and I didn't meet anybody, I got the lessons from that workshop, or that, whatever you want to call it, right? So
yes,
it was a double benefit there.
fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to go to hang out with other people in your industry, you might want to do that once or twice just so you know who's in the market with you. Beyond that, unless they're referring people to you, then it becomes a waste of time.
Absolutely. It becomes busy, not income producing activities.
100%, right?
Yeah.
So again, you have to think of, this is the other thing, to decide where you're going to show up. Think of who your ideal clientele is. And there's no such thing. Like, one big, massive mistake that I hear from everybody, they tell me about the product, they tell me about the service, and I say, who do you service? And their answer is everyone. No, you don't service everyone. And the more you try to service everyone, the more you're going to service nobody. So if you niche down and you have a focus, look, I got two focuses, because those are the two things that works for me. I service agent to agent referral, as we just established, and I service investors. Doesn't mean I don't get regular people looking for homes for the family, but that's not who I cater to. Well, I'm a single guy, so I don't necessarily resonate with the husband, wife with 3 kids. And I'm not saying I don't service people like that. I do. I have some clientele like that. But the majority of my business is coming from people like me, which is either the investor or the agent-to-agent referral. That's who I resonate with for whatever reason. That works for me. That's what I focus on. Everyone's going to be different, but that's my niche market. And if you have to know who your niche market is, where your value proposition lies, and focus on that. Now, if you service, your product helps families and you service families, go to events that cater to families. That would make the most sense. You're not going to go to some event that caters maybe to rock stars, and but your clientele are like 10-year-old children, right? Because they have some children toys or something, as an example, right? No rock star is going to buy Barney Rubble or Barney the dinosaur, right? So that, going to that and saying I'm networking, is a little horse manure. But if you're going to an event with families, well, families have children. Children might be interested in those toys.
Absolutely. No, I love it. You've given us a lot of stuff to think about too. So one of the things you said earlier was that you're the video guy, right?
Yeah.
And so, and you also had mentioned earlier on the notes I got here, which is the consistent marketing.
Correct.
Is key, right? And the cutting up of stuff like that. So I know you're very methodical in your approach to everything, right? So how do you look, and what are the criteria for you for the social media platforms that you're now going to go put your videos onto? Do you do it as a shotgun and say I send it on every one of them? Or is it I stop and go, this is where my market would be sitting? So
absolutely. Like I do a shotgun, but it's not as just scrambled as I made it sound there. Pretty much what I do is the bulk of my content comes from my podcast. What I do is I record a podcast, which is somewhere between 20 to 45 minutes. Then I cut out clips that are of key information, and I use those and scramble them. I don't necessarily always put the same message at the same time. So like prime example, just say I got 4 videos. I might put one video on Facebook, the other video on Instagram, the other one on TikTok, and one on LinkedIn. And then the next day rotate them.
Okay.
So by the end of the week, all 4 videos have been outputted on each platform, not necessarily at the same time.
Right.
So and I just keep repeating it over and over and over and over and over. And most of my content comes from the podcast. Now, I also have a separate thing on Mondays. I have what's called Minute Mondays. Now, and I think this is key, because if it's prime example, again, I'm a realtor. So if all I'm talking about is the market and the value of houses and your home's going to be worth whatever, it gets pretty damn boring. So I like to rotate it and mix it up and let people in. It goes back to that authenticity. Let people see who I am and what I'm about. So what do I like? Personal development is a major thing for me. So Minute Mondays is about personal development. I have one tip that I give out each week to anyone who wants to hear it. It doesn't necessarily mean it's business related. It could just be life related. And it's just something positive, like some positive message. It's either a positive message or a tip that can be useful, or something that I've learned, and I'll share that story.
I like it. Perfect. Thank you so much. So I want to go over here and say, because I know right now everybody's going, and how do we get a hold of you? Right. And so we talked earlier that you said everybody just go to your website, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, right? Because that's the best way to get a hold of you. Now, can you also tell us what is the name of the podcast that you're generating all your info from? Because everybody I know that's watching the show or going to be watching the reruns, because we're in the middle of the day, right? When they watch the replays, are always looking for the next thing to listen to while they're driving, next thing to, play in the background or have up there.
I made it very simple. It is my name, The John Papaloni Show, JOHN PAPALONI, and then show. If you look that up, I'm on Apple Podcasts, I'm on Spotify, I'm on YouTube, and you can find me on all 3 platforms.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, John. So I encourage you guys, get out to the John Papaloni Show. You can go to johnpapaloni.com to go contact him, go through. But again, he's shared a lot of information with us. I'm grateful for it. I came back with define your core values if you haven't already, because you need to build those out, right? And we've talked on other episodes where everybody says I started a business, but did they really, or did they start a hobby because they never treated it like a business? And so you pointed out the great stuff. Go for consistent marketing, right? Go for consistent development. Time block yourself, right? Go above and beyond with the relationship side, because referrals stem from that, as well as repeat business. And keep focused on your income producing activities, because that's what's going to generate you money. And I love the fact that you said, get out there and network with people, go to the coffee shop, go out and get yourself around people, because people do business with people.
100%.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate you more than you know. And so thanks so much.
Truly grateful. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And everybody else that's out there, go out and sell something. Thanks, everyone.